May.
These are bullets all day long. They got the Knight of Pentacles, the stress. He shot himself. There's the
Family attorney says the 23-year-old died from a gunshot wound to the head, and the manner of death was suicide.
I don't know what he used. I know it's a rope involved. I don't know what he used that rope for. Let me see. The secrets. He's taking the secrets with him. You see the secrets? He's not giving y'all the information. That y'all don't need to know it. You know? He'll go out with the secrets with the high priest there. He might be found on a Wednesday too. Ace of Wands. So I have no doubt in my mind they're gonna find Brian Laundrie, October 2021. I'm telling you, he's still.
Hello, my loves. It's TTMG, the Tarot Medium Goddess here. Thank you so much for being here. Please do stop what you're doing and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to tell me what you think about what happened in this case in the comments below. And do show your girl some love and share the video. I appreciate every single one of you. It's true. I love you, boo. Hey, how you guys doing today? Give me 1 second to get into the chat. Give me 1 second. All right, I was just making sure that I have the StreamYard link in the chat in case somebody wants to talk, come on and speak on audio. Let me go ahead and we're going to add this. That's the topic of the show. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, so get into the comments. How is everyone today? Hello, Nani. How are you? How is the weather where you are? You guys put in the comments where you are currently at. Like what city and state, or what state you're in, what country you're in, what continent you're in. Let us know. Hey, Jessica, how are you, love? How are you feeling? How's work? Carrie, happy Christmas Eve to you as well. How are you? Hope all is well. You know what? I do have to do something in the... Nope, I actually did that already. All right, so we are good. Hello, Ro. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you doing, Ro? I love your hair in that picture. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't believe it's almost end of year. A lot of bad things happen in 22, and yet we remain strong and super blessed. So true. I agree. Sick and weather, cold in Florida. I hope it warms up for you. I know I'm in Pennsylvania and we were freezing out here. And the winds, I think the winds just calmed down. Hopefully it'll stay calm. Okay, Carrie from Cleveland, Ohio. Freezing. Yes, it's freezing out here in PA too. So I have a friend I want to visit in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I do want to get a little closer. I'm not in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm on the outskirts, but right in that area. New Jersey. Hey, I've been traveling to New Jersey often because that's where I'm originally from. And well, it's only an hour and 45 minutes, but I don't like to drive. But my brother was just out there with, he had a health issue going on. So I was out there for him. I have COVID, haven't been to work. Oh my God, I didn't know. I'm so sorry to hear that. How are you? How's it going for you? Hey, bro. Okay. You visiting what? I said I have a friend that I would like to visit in Cincinnati, Ohio, Nani. You know, the one we discussed earlier? Yes. Oh, wait, DeVel's in the background. All right. Let's add him to the stream. DeVel?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hey, how long have you been in the background? How long have you been?
For
Because
a little bit long enough to know you got a friend in Cincinnati. You got to meet.
No, I said I would like to. You know, I would like to go out there and see you too in Illinois. You much further though. You like a good 13 hours from me, right?
I'm like that, I guess. That's where I'm gonna be at anyway in Cincinnati, and at the end of May.
At the end of May.
That's when my around Memorial Day. That's when my bowling tournament. I gotta go out there.
Shoot, maybe that'd be good for me to come out there. That way, I could knock 2 birds down with 1 stone. Right?
I don't know. My fiance would be with me though there, so I don't know about that. That's a whole nother thing right there.
You're a hoot.
You said who?
I said you're a hoot.
Oh. I heard hoot. Oh, you said hoops with a T at the end.
Okay, guys. So for the longest, I've been wanting to dig into the Idaho, And I know if Y is not here and Lori Shortlegs is not here, they will be listening in on the replay. They are very much into, and Hermit C. Frog, Mallory, they're very much into the true crime community and finding out what's going on in a lot of these cases, you know, wanting to see justice in a lot of these cases. So we are discussing the Idaho for the murders. I'm still not in tune with a lot that went on. All right. I got some basic knowledge off of my last live that I did on it, but there's so much more that I don't know and have to learn about this case. Also with the Shinquilla case. And unfortunately, I'm not on every day like I would like to be. Otherwise, I would be more in tune. So, you know, just bear with me on this. Now, for those who have, you know, been on my channel for a while, you know that I have a playlist. That's the accuracy playlist that will go through some of the readings that I've done that was, you know, extremely accurate, right? Down to the point where I call names out and we find out that these names are involved with the case, right? Or say, for instance, I'm doing a reading and it's, say, for instance, I'm doing a reading on somebody random or one of my subscribers, the supporters, and I hear a name and it's usually sometimes linked to, you know, a family member, one of their children, their dad, their cousin who died. The other day also, and I don't know how many months back this was, I asked somebody what was their name again? Anyway, I forget their name, but let's say, for instance, it was Jefferson. Their middle name was Jefferson. I asked them, how did they know? How were they connected to a Jefferson? And they would say, "Oh, I don't know. Doesn't sound familiar to me." Or a Jeff. Yeah, they would say no. Actually, the name was, I think it's something like Patterson or something. I forget. But I asked them, how was that connected to the? Oh, I remember the exact name. It was Peterson. So I asked them, do you know a Peter? You're connected to some type of Peter. And he said, no, he knows no Peter. And I'm like, I'm really pulling up the energy for Peter. He's like, no. Later on during the conversation, he's like, his last name is Peterson. I'm like, that's what it has to do with your last name being Peterson. I'm not obviously, all right, you're back on, Devel. I think you got off by accident or it kicked you out, but you're back in.
Yeah, I hit refresh by accident.
Okay. So that's how their name was related to, or that's what they had to do with the name Peterson. Peter. It was their last name, Peter's son, right? So also in the Summer Wells case, I stated how I heard the name Lawson being involved, but it wasn't with the sheriff. It wasn't directly the sheriff. It was just somebody with that name Lawson. And it turns out his son is linked to some type of pedophile cases, and his last name is Lawson, guys. So is that the person we're supposed to be keeping our eyes on in the Summer Wells case? You tell me. The other day, Lori was on the channel, and she had she wanted to see if I could find more names that were equated to or linked to the Idaho 4 murders. And I said everything that is linked to that case is I put on my community page already. I already put it on my wall. And not that I'm saying that this is 100%, but those are the names that strongly came up with involvement in the case. So it could be somebody they know. It could be a loved one. It could be their middle name. It could be a street they live on. It could be a park across the street from where they live, something like that. But I said, if I'm to come up with a name right now, I feel like I'm hearing the name Jeffrey and Troy, other than what I had already on the community page. And me, you guys, like I say, not knowing anything about the case, my brother just having a brain aneurysm, and me having to go to New Jersey to see him in a hospital, etc. I'm not focused on these cases. I have my children as well. I want to be focused, but I'm not as focused as I want to be at this time. But anyway, I say I'm hearing the name Troy. And Lori Shortlegs brought it to my attention that a suspect drove through, I believe, the town of Troy, Idaho, I'm assuming. Okay. So, but previously, and I'm going to get on the screen right now because I know you guys are ready for it. Let me get this off the screen. All right. Previously, I put in my community page. And if you check my accuracy list, you guys can hear where I said names tons of times that were very much accurate in cases or just in random readings, right? Yeah, so let's scroll down. There was another one. I'm trying to think of what it was, but it was extremely accurate again where I came up with the name. I have so much stuff on my mind, guys, so you got to excuse me. But all right, so I'm going to pull this post up. Thank you, Devel, for being on. So in my community page, if you go, it says 12 days back, and today is currently, what's the date, Devel? It's Christmas Eve. So it's December 24th, 2022. So happy Christmas Eve to everybody. Lori Shortlegs. Okay, so I posted it 12 days ago. It says Lori Shortlegs asked me what names I'm hearing linked to the Idaho 4 murders. So one more of these names can be potentially the killer of Idaho murders and or someone who is directly connected to the killer and have information. It can also be a middle name. One, I had the name David or something with a D. So I don't know if that's the person's middle name. I don't know if they live with somebody named David. I don't know. But David was highly coming up with that. All right. 2 is William. This can also be anybody around them, anybody involved in the case. But I was trying to target more because sometimes I get the name of reporters, detectives, and all of that. But I really wanted to concentrate on names of the actual people involved in this case. So I got the potential name Ryan. I did pick up a Chris before, but I feel this one can be kept off the list. And originally I should have put that about Jack because I picked up a Jack, but I felt it could be left off the list as well. Because I wasn't sure because I had like 7 names on here and I didn't want to add to it. So I know next time in the future, still go ahead and add those names, even though it might be a little bit more than we want to look at, right? I wanted to kind of narrow it down. And then number 5 was Andrew, 6, Connor, 7, Peaches. I said, but maybe someone connected to the killer, all right? Or maybe the person loves peaches, all right? Something about the name Peaches. So Lori came to my live and I stated to her a couple times that I heard the name Jack. I said, but I did not write it down on the list. And she told me she heard Jack could be connected. And I'm like, yeah, I was hearing the name Jack. So I did tell her I would edit it. I would add Jack. But if you go listen to my lives before, I would have to find it because usually Lori donates. I haven't been doing a lot of true crime lives. And Lori Shortlegs, she'll go ahead and donate for readings on true crime cases, even during my donation lives where people are donating for personal questions, right? So I'm going to have to start putting down timestamps of those and leaving it in the comments after, so that we can always easily go back to it, or I can do an edit and clip some of that information. So Jack was something that came up right there, 8. And Troy, like I stated, 9 is Troy, and Lori Shortlegs told me that the suspect went through Troy, Idaho. I have no clue, or Troy, whatever state it's, that's in. I have no clue if Jack, I'm sorry guys, I have no clue if Jack lives in Troy or whatever, or if there's somebody else, but I have a feeling that's just linked to the place that, the person drove by. Anyway, I wrote after, potentially a last name that starts with an O, and O with the apostrophe after it. The energy of this in particular is low, but I still want to throw it out there. I felt it was important to throw it out there because sometimes I give names, or I have a feeling and I don't put it out there, and then it winds up turning out to be like extremely accurate. So just in case, you don't have to pay it mind, but if it came back up that, hey, this person has an O in their last name, it's just something to think about. The more clues, the better. And so all of this is alleged, guys, because of course you can't charge anybody on you could charge people on anything really, but you can't get them, you can't get them convicted, right, on charges without solid evidence. So this is all alleged. This is going off of my intuition. This is going off my psychic abilities. Did I pull cards on this? I don't remember, but I'm sure Lori does, because Lori's memory is sharp as can be, okay? But as far as hearing, that's something that comes to me clairaudiently. The names that I heard were above. If you know in any way that these names could be connected in the case, please do comment in the description box. I do have a high level of accuracy, probably going somewhere to 85, 90%, 95, which means that I'm still human and I have room for error, right? And I know people often say, let's not speculate, but honestly speaking, how do cases get solved? By somebody trying to put clues together. And here are some clues that you can put together that I will share with you throughout these true crime cases that can possibly help find these families some justice. So please do press like, right? Because the more I get support, the more I decide to come on here, the more I decide to share stories, right? Because there's so many cases out there. There's so many people out there that are deserving of this help. But I need to see support on my channel to be able to have the time and energy to keep giving. So do share it. Do talk about me in other chats and other lives, right? Because that'll go a long way in having me be able to read this energy as much as you would like. Let me continue. So I wrote, this is alleged, but many times I do hear names. So please like this and keep those names at the back of your head in case anyone with these names come up in the investigation. I will update the list if I hear anything else, right? So once again, this is alleged. Do I have the hardcore facts? No. However, for me to hear the name Jack and it become relevant in the case, and I already have proven history with accuracy. If you want to check my record, I stated the date, the exact date Brian Laundrie would be found. I said his body. I'm sorry, DeLaVelle. I know I'm taking up so much talk time and I want your input. Give me a moment. But I stated the exact date his body would be found, which was October 20th, 2021, right? Prior, if you check out my lives prior to him being found, I stated that he would be found dead due to gunshot wound to the head, suicide. And that's what the autopsy showed once the autopsy was in. Many readers stated he was going to jail. So go ahead and click that like button. Push me out there. It'll help me to keep coming in, coming on more often. Also with Gabby Petito, before her autopsy was in, people were asking me, did she get shot because Brian had a gun? If you see my lives prior to the autopsy being revealed, I stated that Gabby was not shot. She couldn't breathe. I hear saying she couldn't breathe. She suffocated. She died through strangulation. And I stated where Ariana Taylor's body would be found. Not where it would be found, but the energy of where it was. I had no clue who Ariana Taylor was. However, I came on, I was in, I think, Muddy Water Search live one day, and somebody stated, they told me about the Ariana Taylor's case that was going on earlier this year. They asked me, do I know where she was? I had no clue. And I said who she was. And I said, let me see. I think I heard sewer. I'm like, but does anybody really wind up being found in a sewer? I mean, I would think so, but I never heard of cases like those. And days later, her body was found in sewer drainage pipes. All right. And then also Naomi Arion. She was found. I stated she would be found within 2 to 3 days of my read. Her body was found 2 days after my read. And it was released to the public 3 days after my read. So go ahead, press that like button, share my name in other chats, share my YouTube handle, because again, that helps me stay motivated on these cases. It pushes me out there. If you want to support the channel financially, you can go ahead and Cash at me, PayPal me. All my information should be in the description box. But if not, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stream that through the live shortly. So now we're going to go ahead and play. Let me get to the comments, though, because I have not checked out the comments. Devella, you still with me?
I'm still here.
Devella, for a while. No, you weren't there. I just put you back on. You were off, actually. I just added you back in. Let me see what the comments say, and then we'll go ahead and play some videos.
Let's see what happens again. So that's it.
Or some clips.
Because from there, it's about the next meeting.
All right. So let's see. You visiting what? Hey, Nani said, hey, Deval.
Okay, tell I said, hey.
She hears you. All right. Rose says, you are amazing. Thank you, Ro. So are you. I appreciate your support. Jessica says, take care of what you need to take care of, Goddess. I'm praying everything stays well for you and the family. Thank you so much, Jessica. Lori states, I'm in a blizzard. Wow, where are you? We're out here. It's bad out here, but it stopped snowing. I think everything turned to ice. I can't get in the car.
Yeah, that's ice.
Nani, Deval, Nani says, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay. Can she hear me? I think so.
Yes, she can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm doing all right. Just freezing out here. This blizzard, all this stuff. We didn't get that much snow, but just because the wind, that's what created a whiteout. We got like 1 to 3 inches, but the wind, we had like 50-mile-an-hour winds yesterday. And
my doors and windows were banking. It sounded like somebody was trying to get into my house. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I know with mine, my apartment back in Michigan, when the wind blow like that, it sound like a train right next door to me. Like it'd be hitting up, like get trapped up in them shutters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like a train going through there.
Right. That's what it was feeling like too. Yep. So and the Vels in Chicago, not Chicago, but Illinois. And I'm in Pennsylvania. So yeah, we're dealing with a lot of the same. So let's go ahead and we'll go play a clip from, let me put something on. Give me 1 second. Let's get updated because I'm actually not updated in the case. All I know is earlier, if you're updated, go ahead and drop whatever information that you would like to drop. All I know is I saw on Twitter that they found this Elantra, or they may have, and it's probably an internet sleuth. You guys tell me who found it. I have no clue where this photo originated from, but they're saying, is this Jack's Honda Elantra? Is this his home? So if you know more details about that information, let me know, okay? Because I'm not updated. That's all I did. That's all I saw on Twitter, and I came right here and I decided, let's have the conversation. Let's have the conversation because that's the name that came up, you know, out of a handful or whatever, a handful or two, less than two, right? But as somebody that may be involved in the murders of the Idaho 4, mind you, this is way more than speculation because I literally hear names that come true. If you go back and you watch my accuracy playlist, right? So anyway, let me go ahead and search for an update video so we can know what's going on in the these murders. And if you ever know of their family, or if anyone decides to connect to their family, let them know. If they decide, you know, they want to come on here, give me a little bit of information, you know, about their family member, or share whatever they would like a reading, I will be more than happy to give them one free of charge. All right. So it looks like something was updated recently. Let me filter it out.
I like our tackles, and I think we're going to be fine, but at the same time, let's not do that. Let's not try.
All right, so
Coach, appreciate good luck out there.
We got this on the screen.
Yes, might say Coach Dan Campbell say get set to go. Game time. We're getting ready for kickoff here. Stick around.
So I'm gonna press mute on DeVale because I think for a minute till we ready to talk to him. I think he's watching football in the background, and it's okay. Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and mute him for a second. Idaho murders update. Very poor communication. I want to know about the name Jack. I wonder if anybody has the name Jack in their title. Let's see. Let's see. Potential suspects. Oh, that's 3 weeks ago. I don't know. Was Shaq a suspect 3 weeks ago? All right. Let's look. Let's look into this. All right, I unmuted Giselle in case.
I'm Anjanette Levy here on Law and Crime, and we have some news to tell you about in the case of the 4 University of Idaho students who were murdered a little more than a month ago, just over 5 weeks ago. There is a photo or a group of photos floating around on the internet, and I've received a lot of messages about this. It is a white Hyundai Elantra in this photo and photographs without license plates and front end damage that has been found abandoned on a street corner in Eugene, Oregon. Now, we all know that Moscow police have been looking for a white Hyundai Elantra. I reached out to police in Eugene, Oregon, and they told me that they have notified Moscow police about this white Hyundai Elantra. It has no license plates. It appears to be dirty and also has front end damage. I reached out to Moscow PD. A spokesperson there told me they are aware of the vehicle and they are working on it. So this is an interesting bit of information. Obviously, there are 22,000 white Hyundai Elantras between the years of 2011 and 2013 that police are sifting through in the hopes of finding the white Hyundai Elantra that they're looking for. You may recall just about 2 weeks ago, Moscow PD put out the call saying that they were looking for a white Hyundai Elantra between the years of 2011 and 2013 that was in the immediate area of the crime scene that early morning on November 13th, when those 4 college students, Kaylee Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin were murdered in their home.
Wait, I'm gonna pause this because Lori says, it's Jack Decor. Is that the person? Because you remember even though I got the letter O, maybe because how the name Decor, it kind of emphasizes the O a little bit. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that, but I don't know. I forget spending. What do you mean by that, Lori? I don't understand. All right, Lori says that Hyundai Elantra in Oregon was not the missing one. Oh, okay. Hello, Lily. How are you, love? All right, so let's continue just to watch for a few more seconds, and then I'll try to find another video. If you have a better video that's more updated that you want to share with us, Lori or anyone in live, just go ahead and type it in the chat, and I'll put it in the live.
Police have repeatedly said that the person or persons in that vehicle could have information critical to this investigation. So they really want to talk to those people and have been searching for this vehicle for a couple of weeks. We don't know if the white Hyundai abandoned on that street corner in Eugene is indeed the vehicle. However, we thought we should let you know that police are looking into it, both the Eugene PD and Moscow PD, which is leading this investigation with the assistance of.
Okay, so Lori says there is a different there's a different name with an O. Okay. Now I'm not 100% on that O. As far as the last name, I don't know. I was just getting the energy. But Jack definitely was something I heard clearly. And I'm like, what, Jack? And I did question that name at first because I was hearing like a David, but then I heard Jack. But I wanted to limit the amount I put up there. But I told Lori during a live, I'm like, I did hear the name Jack. And she was telling me how it was relevant. So I think that's the person that they definitely need to hone in on, big time. If there's any videos you guys want to share with me, go ahead and put the link in the chat and I'll go ahead and play that. Give me 1 second. And if anybody would like to get on panel, I do have the StreamYard link pinned to the top of the chat. All right, let's see. I'm going to, some of these are like 4 months back. I'm going to try to take out the word Jack. And I'll just do update Idaho 4, and we'll try to go back. I don't know, this week? No, today. Let's see what was posted today. Idaho murders update. Parents land very poor police communication. Still no suspects. Still no suspects. No, they better check Jack. I'm telling you. If they know what's good for them, they better check Jack. All right. Oh, wow. What? There are two Davids too? This is crazy. David was coming up stronger than Jack for me.
What a job that
still
I
coming
don't.
up as possible. And are any of these people, do you know their history, Lori? Are any of them linked to sports? Because I felt like something linked to sports, but I could have been wrong on that. There are so many names. Yeah. Yeah, even when I was hearing, I usually only hear a few names, but they were like, I don't know if other people are connected some way, somehow. Not saying necessarily to the death, but I don't know. We're going to figure this out, though. Jack and David, then. Jack and David are the two names that I say stay on, like white on rice. Is that what they used to say? That's the old saying, right? But stay on Jack and David. Those are the ones. I mean, you don't want anybody to slip out there and we overlook anybody. But I'm telling you, going off my accuracy in those the past, Jack and David are the two you want to keep your eyes on. All right, let's go ahead and see what they're saying now.
Hate.
Authorities in Moscow, Idaho are seeking the public's help in identifying the occupants of a white Hyundai Elantra made between 2011 and 2013 and seen near the off-campus home where 4 University of Idaho students were murdered last month. Police say they could have critical information about the case.
New surveillance footage obtained by News Nation shows two of the victims walking in.
Oh, wait, guys, let me see what's in the chat. And I got to say something else. Sometimes I'm not going to be able to speak, so I will just highlight your comment. There is a frat full, guys. Oh, okay. So maybe, thank you, Lori. Oh, my God, I love you. I love your information. Because I wonder if some of those names may be linked to the people that are in the frat, though. I put that in the chat earlier, the community post where I had the names, those names. Agreed. Okay. Melvina Smith. How are you doing, Melvina? I haven't seen you in a while. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to come back. I'm going to go downstairs because I ordered a DoorDash because my key, I can't go in my car. I need to go to the supermarket and everything. My door is frozen. My lock is frozen. So hopefully it'll unfreeze later. I don't know. But so I'm going to get it off the porch before the wind blows it into nowhere land, right? And I'm going to start playing this. I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to go through y'all comments as I play it. Again, if there's any links, any pictures, any information you guys want to share, go ahead, include what you can do, include in the link below. If you want to be on a panel, also, that's fine. I have it pinned at the top of the chat.
In downtown Moscow with an unidentified man just hours before they were murdered. An attorney for the family of Kaylee Goncalves raised doubts last week over how Moscow police have conducted the investigation thus far. Let's watch.
Thank you.
Once again, we haven't gotten any information from the police. The communication has been very poor. It really continues to be poor. I've sent over a couple of questions over the last few days that still haven't gotten answered. The whole thing is trust us, trust us, trust us, and have faith in the investigation, or we're making these right decisions. Well, if you're missing out on video because you go in on the 22nd,
Joining us now with details into the investigation is News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton. Brian, great to have you with us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so tell us what the latest is. What is the new information with this, with the surveillance footage of the car, et cetera?
Yeah, so unfortunately, the basics sort of remain the same. Still no known suspect or persons of interest. Police are still staying very, very tight-lipped. They still continue to look for this Hyundai Elantra. At last check, there were 22,000 Hyundai Elantras in that time frame. Registered in both Idaho and Washington, and they're trying to go through every single one of those registrations. So it's obviously taking a really, really long time, even with the help of the FBI. So they're still asking the public for help. There was some surveillance video that came about from a gas station that shows a white car. We're not sure if that's the exact car that they're looking for. There's also a landlord near the house where the murders happened, who I talked to, who says he picked up a light-colored car around the time of the murders, right on a road near where the murders happened, that he also submitted that video surveillance to the authorities. He said the FBI was trying to enhance his video. So behind the scenes, a lot happening, but they say they still haven't identified the actual car that they're looking for.
Yeah, and this speaks to, a question that I think so many people have had about this whole story, which, there's surveillance. We're surveilled without our knowledge all the time. Everybody has security cameras. There's so much video footage everywhere. So the idea that, this could happen and we'd have just nothing whatsoever, no grainy or sketchy video footage of anyone near the house at that time always seemed baffling. So now it sounds like maybe they do have that kind of stuff, but they haven't been able to turn that into an actionable lead, even if they have had that information for some time, or is it this is newly come to them because they're not being very transparent about when they got this surveillance.
Okay, I'm back. I missed 3 minutes, but I'm listening to the rest with you guys. You could update me on what I missed, but I'll put your comments up on the screen while we continue to listen.
Surveillance footage.
Yeah, so the surveillance footage you're looking at right there, we obtained that over the weekend. That's video of Maddie and Kaylee walking in downtown Moscow just hours before the murders. And they're talking about a man named Adam, who we've come to find out is actually a bartender at one of the bars in town, and has apparently been cleared and is not a suspect right now, according to the lawyer for the Gonsalves family. So that video, we know that police had 2 or 3 days after the murders. We were just able to track it down over the weekend. So you make a good point. I mean, there's a lot of video that police have had that just hasn't been made public. Like I was mentioning, the one landlord who gave up video, that was also just a couple of days after the murder. So police have had it since then. So there's clearly a lot that they have that they haven't been sharing. But what's interesting is when they talk about the Hyundai Elantra, they've released a stock photo. So it's just a generic photo of a Hyundai Elantra. They haven't actually released a photo of the actual car that they're looking for, which leads us to believe that they don't have the car on video, or at least they don't have a clear image of the car.
Yeah, my understanding was that, there was a lot of pushback. There was a lot of concern about this.
So Lori, I'm gonna continue to play, but Lori says there are no suspects. So there's no suspects. That's crazy. Is there any way, or do you know if they're gonna go ahead and expand their investigation team at this point? Wonder what could be done so that they can have more of an more eyes in this case, because for what happened with all 4 of them getting murdered, college students like that. Not to say, I mean, every life is extremely important, but I just feel like I haven't been involved in the case, so I don't know. Maybe they are doing more behind the scenes. Please let me know, for those who have been watching this case, do you feel they're doing enough? If not, what else can be done? We're going to continue to listen.
Revelation that they did in fact have some of this information, the video footage of the light colored car, and now this kind of stunning video from just hours.
Look, I know all of you guys who have been heavily involved in the case know all of this, because Lori, she stays on these cases, so she knows, but I did not know that. She wrote they do have the murderer's DNA. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. That means as soon as they find the one who murdered him, they could confirm it through the DNA. That's amazing. I love that. So now they just need to go in and do whatever they need to do to get this wrapped up and give the families more closure.
Alexa, stop.
Hours before the murders took place, in which there was an unidentified man walking with these 2 young women. Not that he's necessarily a suspect, but it is in really stark contrast to the messaging that we've heard in the weeks since the murders, which is that there was just absolutely nothing here. And part of what was defining the coverage of the story was how mysterious the circumstances of all of this were. The gap between that and what we're now seeing doesn't give a lot of confidence in the way that law enforcement is handling this case. And I saw specifically criticisms that if you're going to rely on the public's help to track down this vehicle, time is of the essence, and questions about why it was that the public wasn't made aware of the fact that they should be tracking down this Hyundai Elantra much sooner. Are those concerns that you've heard echoed from the family, the families of the victims?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Especially the Gonsalves family, their attorney, even last night, again, was talking to me about how he is concerned with the police investigation right now. One of his big concerns is like the first 48 hours after the murders happened, because obviously now there's 60 FBI agents working the case. There's more than a dozen state detectives also helping Moscow PD, which is pretty small. But his concern is, right after it happened, those first 48 hours before all of those additional resources were able to come in, why didn't they do more? Why didn't they put out some kind of alert to the community? Hey, do you know of anyone in this small town who missed work, who, has injuries on their arms? Because obviously there were, we know that some of the victims fought back during the attack. He just feels like enough wasn't necessarily done early on, and that perhaps this, relatively small police department that hasn't dealt with a murder in 7 years. So in some ways, you can't really blame them. I mean, it's this beautiful, quiet, small town that doesn't really have much crime. But he's questioning, should they have handed things over much earlier to a federal agency that has more experience in this kind of thing.
My understanding, I believe since last we spoke with you, is there was a bit of new information on the, without getting into the very gruesome details, the conditions they were found in. The two of the girls were actually found even in the same bed. They were very violent, very deep stab wounds. Would not have been recoverable. It might have been swifter kind of death situation. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so the reason that we're obviously interested in that, and you mentioned it's gruesome, it's, you don't like to talk about it, especially of what these families are going through. But it's because there's this whole question of who was the target. Was there a target? Is it possible, the victim with the most substantial wounds was the target of the killer? And we've learned through the Gonsalves family that they say their daughter, Kaylee, had significantly, more serious stab wounds than her best friend, Maddie, who she was sleeping in the same bed as. Does that mean that Kaylee was the target? Or does it perhaps mean that she also woke up and was fighting back, and that's why she was, had worse injuries? We really just don't know. We also don't really know how her injuries compare to the other two victims who were on the second floor. And again, that's another thing that the families are frustrated by, is some of the communication. They've streamlined it now. The police are the ones doing most of the talking and releasing of information. But early on, you had the prosecutor talking, you had the coroner, who the family say was calling them directly and giving them information. And again, it's a small town. The coroner is a local attorney in town. They question, does she even have the expertise? Should she have been calling families and giving out information? A quadruple homicide like this, 4, college students stabbed. Again, a lot of people here are just questioning, like, are they really equipped to handle an investigation like this, something that would be serious in any big city or anywhere in the country, let alone, a very, very small, quiet town.
Brian, I also want to just ask you about this vape store owner who says that Kaylee had a stalker and that the girls walked in a group because they were afraid of her being targeted. What do we know about that claim?
Yeah, so I interviewed that vape store owner. According to him, Kaylee and Maddie would come into the vape store, pretty regularly. He said he had encountered them 6 or 7 times. The store is not far from their home. And he says the last time that he spoke to the girls, it was about 3 weeks before the murders. And he says they came in as a big group, and that they were discussing how they were in a group because Kaylee had a stalker and they were all sticking together to keep her safe. He didn't have a lot of specifics about, who the stalker might be, but it was certainly interesting considering this stalker, theory has come up over and over again. We know that he's spoken to police. Police actually came into his store looking for surveillance video at one point. So, just another element to the mystery. But the bottom line is we still don't really know whether Kaylee had a stalker, and her family says that she never brought up a specific person to them, especially her sister, who she was super close to. They talked about everything. Her sister says if she really had a stalker, she likely would have, it would have come up on, they talk like multiple times per day.
All right. So there you have it. So again, everything is alleged. I stated names that I heard. I know Lori Shortleg stated that there are no suspects, right? They just have the DNA of the murder. So thank you guys for catching me up to the case. So I can't say it. Jack did it, David did it, whoever did it. If you go to my community post, again, you'll see names that are possibly involved in the murder. Then again, it could just be people that are part of the frat club, right? It could be that. However, I feel like David and Jack definitely should be investigated really well. And just like if this was my family member, your loved one, you want them to go out there and do the best investigation possible. And I believe these kids deserve it, and their families definitely deserve it as well. All right, let's see. Robin says background noise of the person in the live chat. Mute him, please. Yes, Robin. He's He's muted, I think. Let me see. Yeah, he's muted. Lori says 4 of them stabbed. I think they were all targeted. 2 left alive downstairs. Such a violent person. Yeah. Yeah, like who does this? The stalker might actually know something. Lori, are there any questions that you would like me to ask in this case? Let me know. For a detailed reading, guys, I usually from in the future, it definitely has to come from, well, not always, because look, we have people like Candace Bly and Don Wells out there, right? Who, as I stated before, I have the high energy that they're involved in the disappearance of Summer Wells, right? And I told you that I felt an energy of her no longer being with us. So in certain cases like that, I can make an exception. But overall, I would like, just to go into a detailed reading if it involves a family member that just wants to get as much information as possible. And as always, this, although I do have a high accuracy rate, this is nothing that this just could give you clues to solve the different cases, right? But you also have to go off the facts that are out there, because that's how you convict people. But hopefully, I'll bring people enough but enough clues that will eventually lead them to the facts that they need to get the solid evidence and get certain people convicted. So do please like my live, and do please share my stream when you can. All right. So Jessica says, please do not forget to like and subscribe, everyone. And please hit the notification bell to know when Goddess goes live. Yes. And welcome, Robin. Lori, is the young adult Adam involved? All right. Okay, so we're going to see, this is going to be alleged, but let's go ahead and I have to say that because we're dealing with very serious crime here. Okay. Is the young adult Adam involved? Why does that name sound familiar? Did I get that name ever, Lori? I don't remember. Is Adam involved in the murder of the Idaho 4? I don't know why I just got the word chancellor. I have no clue if it's connected to the case, but I guess we'll figure it out. Is Adam involved in the murder of the Idaho 4? Okay. I pulled the world card, the green man. All right. Then the Page of Cups, the King of Wands. All right. The Justice, the 8 of Wands, the Sun, Eight of Cups, the 4 of Wands, and the Moon. I'm feeling like I'm hearing no, but the cards are showing me like this person may know more. I don't know who this person is or how, they're involved in the case, but I'm getting an energy of them knowing something. Clarity on the Justice. And it's the cards are almost showing me like a yes with the Justice and the 8 of Pentacles, but I'm still feeling no. I could be wrong. Clarity on the 8 of Pentacles. Wait, I feel a sharp pain in my chest, almost by my heart. Did somebody get stabbed by their heart? Nine of Swords. I feel like the person knows something. And clarity on the Moon. I feel like this person has some sort of regret. The Moon. Clarity on the Moon. I don't know if somebody's a Sagittarius, a fire sign or a Libra. All right, the Harvest. The person feels like they're hiding something. I see a snake in its grass by the tree. And then the 7 of Swords is somebody that could be, they have a tendency to betray. they have a tendency to portray. I'll get their pictures back on the screen in a second. 7 of Wands. That's somebody actually going for, that looks like a rifle though. 7 of Wands. Why is that 7 of Wands there? Yeah, that's a rifle. Somebody's going for towards a rifle. Someone's feeling left out in the cold. I don't know if they're upset about money or something. Clarity on this 5 of Pentacles. That's it. Clarity on the 10 of Swords. Clarity on that. Nature. Is someone hiding out in nature? It appears that someone's hiding out in nature in this, or they're trying to be out more than in. Or let's say, for instance, they're not at their house. They're just out somewhere else. Someone's not staying home. But let me look. Clarity on the Sun. I'm not feeling like that, but it feels like this person has some sort of regret with the 8 of Swords, like they're in their head, like they know something or know too much, and they are having some type of anxiety about it. Chancellor, The girls were talking about Adam. One of them said, I told Adam everything. Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing that, Football Cat. I am afraid of one of those young adults might off themselves in sorrow. So is that what it is, Lori? Or do you feel like they know something about it? Because that's the energy I'm picking up. Like somebody knows more than they're telling. And it's that Adam. Because that's who the read was focused on. But it could be more than Adam, but that's what I'm pulling up. Lori, you can drop another question if you like, or anybody can at this time. If I get too many, I'm not going to read all of them, but I may read some. Idaho share driver comes forward. I see something about an Idaho share driver, rideshare driver coming forward. I think I'm going to share that shortly. We're going to watch that clip. I'm afraid one of those. Yeah. Let me get this on the screen. Give me 1 second, guys. Chrome tab. Let's see what they're saying.
Customize and save $652 with Liberty Mutual.
Yeah. I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not more, just from this app on my phone. And I don't know if you can.
Breaking news tonight, 40 days into the University of Idaho murders, and the driver, who was likely the very last man to see Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez alive, is speaking to News Nation tonight. The Uber driver who brought the kids home the night of the murders, Kaylee's family reported that their daughter had indeed ordered an Uber, and now the man who drove them is revealing exclusive details to us about that ride home and what the girls said in the back of that car. News Nation correspondent Alex Capriello is live tonight. He tracked him down. He joins me from outside the home in Moscow. That was a very difficult task. Tell me what you found out, Alex.
Yeah, I was able to find this rideshare driver. He's one of only about 4 here in the Moscow area. So I was able to track down that phone number and give him a call personally, speak to him. I asked him point blank, hey, are you the guy who drove Kaylee and Maddie home that night? And to his credit, he was very transparent, very honest, very open, almost immediately with me.
Well, understandably, he has said, Alex, that he is very concerned. It's a small community. He doesn't want to be on camera, but he was very revealing in what he told you about that ride home. Start there. What did the girls talk about in the back seat?
Well, he said that it was actually a rather innocent conversation from the beginning. You might remember that he picked up these two girls from that grub truck. It's the food truck that's located right in downtown Moscow. And really, he said that was the center of their conversation. The entire 5-minute ride home was about their mac and cheese carbonara that they were planning on splitting when they got back to the house. He said that he's picked them up in the past, not only these two girls, but Xana as well. And he said that in the past, they've talked about boys and drama and college life, but not this time around. It was just a very normal, innocent conversation about their food and how they were going to share it when they got home.
So that's also revealing that he knew them. He had had them in the car multiple times before. This is a small town. So if they've taken an Uber a couple of times, it would be likely that he'd be the driver. And he said, indeed, he knew them. He knew all three of them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He said that obviously as one of only about 4 rideshare drivers in this area, he picks up these girls a lot. And not to mention, we already know that this is so close to Frat Row. And of course, we've reported that this is a party house. So a lot of times students would come here. And so he said that Xana, that Kaylee and Maddie were no strangers to them. He's given them rides home from the bars, home from work, home from school. So he knows them. He has driven them before. But back again to this, he said that there was nothing out of the ordinary that night, that right now or in that moment that it was just an innocent conversation. Of course, the frats were bumping on a Saturday night, but here at the house, it was quiet and he saw nothing out of the usual.
So as you reported earlier this week, Alex, the last thing that we heard on tape was the surveillance camera showing Maddie and Kaylee walking from the Corner Club bar to the grub truck. And the only thing we could hear was, Maddie, what did you tell Adam? And then Maddie responds, I told Adam everything. Was there any conversation in the back of the Uber car about Adam or the bartender? Because Adam turned out to be the bartender. Did he mention anything like that?
Yeah, actually, the rideshare driver said that he knows Adam. He knows he's a bartender, but Adam was not brought up once at all during that conversation. Again, no conversations about boys, drama, or any trouble. And as far as what the girls were feeling, he said they were not fearful. They weren't skittish in any way. But back to the food truck, also, I asked him about that. Hey, you were right there. Did you see anything out of the ordinary there? And he said, no, it was a Saturday night at the food truck. A bunch of college kids hanging out, ordering their food before heading home. You know, I brought up another person a lot of people have speculated about, the hoodie guy he's been referenced as. He said he didn't see that guy. He has no indication that anything was wrong there at the food truck, and certainly during that entire rideshare home, no indication that anything was wrong there rather.
Okay, then what about the police? Because clearly I would have imagined the police have a lot more, machinery and technological ability than sometimes we do to track people down. I assume that the police would have found him and that they would have talked. What did he say about being able to tell everything he told you to the police?
Right. Yeah, this was super interesting to me because he said that he didn't hear about the murders until the next day. And he realized, oh my gosh, these are the two girls that I had driven home and I've driven home in the past. And so he was stewing on that for a little bit, but he was the one who eventually turned himself over to the police by calling the tip line saying, hey, I was the one who drove these girls home. The police tells the rideshare driver that they already knew he was the driver, but even still, he was the one who called in himself and said, hey, I was that guy. That being said, when he did that, called the tip line, he turned over all of his GPS coordinates from that night, sharing that he went to Taco Bell after dropping the girls off and then went home. And so that's the reason why he was cleared almost immediately, never been named as a suspect or persons of interest, because all the data that he provided to the police proves that he was not there at this house at the time that these murders allegedly happened.
So the other question is, as you are standing almost, I imagine, in the same spot where they were dropped off, did he mention anything about the drop-off that was unusual? Anybody in the parking lot? Did he drive into the parking lot? Did he hear something, see something, pass anybody?
Ashley, the only thing he said was that he heard the frats doing their normal partying, but everything else seemed quiet, seemed normal. There were no headlights. There was no one following him. He says he's got a great memory, and he would know whether or not anyone was trailing him or if there was anything suspicious at all. As far as the drop-off, he said that he brought them right up the street here on King Road and dropped them off here at the foot of the driveway. He never pulls actually into the driveway because he says based on his training, he always wants to be able to have a quick getaway in the event that something bad happens to him, like he gets robbed on the side of the road. But he dropped them off here on King Road. He watched them get out of the car. He did not watch them physically go into the home, but he said that he trusted that they were going to be safe because he's driven them so many other times, and he knew that these two girls were together.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
I don't understand what type of madman does this. Let's see if there's anything else. Idaho murder house had crazy party when victims weren't home. Okay. Slain Idaho student's family takes action, pleads for tips in quadruple homicide. All right, let's see what they're talking about real quick. Oh, what I'm going to do as this plays, I would like to mute my background, right? And I'm going to play this video. If you can't hear the video, if muting myself mutes the video, then please let me know in the chat. If you can hear it after, please let me know.
Do you want to grow your YouTube channel? Do you want to earn more views, more subscribers, more watch time, and of course, make more money? Well, it might be time for you to upgrade to TubeBuddy Pro. Sadly, while a lot of people start YouTube channels, many never reach the success that they dream of. Why? Well, there's so much you want to do on your YouTube channel, but it's very easy to get bogged down in details and not.
And welcome back to the Law and Crime Network, everybody. I'm Michael Bryant. So let's go to Idaho now, because this is one of the most frustrating cases that we have begun to cover. It's got worldwide notoriety. This is the investigation that continues into the killing of the 4 University of Idaho students. They were stabbed to death in their off-campus house. Investigators now say the murder took place on or about November 13th, and now it's a month plus since these murders took place. It is far from unsolved, it seems. There have been no arrests, no even, well, I don't know if you'd call persons of interest being involved. Our own Anjanette Levy has been on this story from the beginning. She's got more now on the latest updates.
Xana Kernodle's family has mailed out 5,000 flyers to homes and businesses in the Moscow area, asking anyone who has information about the murders to come forward or provide video to police. This is the second time that flyers have gone out. The photos of Kernodle, her boyfriend Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, and Maddie Mogan at the top. All 4 murdered in the home on King Road in Moscow on November 13th.
We think it's very important, and we appreciate that support from the family. We want additional leads as well.
Moscow police are still searching for that 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra, one found on a street corner in Eugene, Oregon, already ruled out. Police saying they are confident the person or people in that vehicle near the crime scene the morning of the murders has information about the case. Moscow police echoing the call for video and photo evidence to be submitted, along with any other information.
Anybody that had looked at some of their past social media posts or past pictures and thinks something's out of the ordinary, something's odd, we want that information. I think we've been consistent in saying that, the activity that might have been done within those pictures or those videos that people may or may not want to submit to the police, that's not what we're interested in. We're interested in the context of the crime. That way we can piece together aspects of this case, that we get a better picture.
Moscow police are working through 15,000 tips, and they're also watching videos, thousands of them, along with photographs they're looking at, with the assistance of the FBI and Idaho State Police. For the Law and Crime Network, I'm Anjanette Levy.
Okay, so, oh, Devel came in? Hey, Devel, you back? Okay, so Lori wants us to look into Ethan's obituary. So I'll put that on the screen. Give me 1 second. You guys know I never have my glasses on, so if anybody ever wants to volunteer to come on the panel and read so you don't have to hear me stumble through what I can't see, that's fine too. But we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. We're going to give it a shot. Thanks for suggesting it, Lori. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hey, Egyptian Famous. How are you, love? So Ethan Chapin's obituary, November 13th, 2022. Ethan, a triplet, was born. Oh, I didn't know he was a triplet. Oh man, that sucks for his brothers. Or sisters. Ethan, his whole family. I'm sorry, guys. Ethan, a triplet, was born first at 4:43 p.m. on a beautiful Tuesday evening in October. He was born at Swedish Hospital in Seattle. Maisie arrived shortly after at 4:44 and Hunter at 4:45. Our family spent the first year and a half living in Olympia. Wow, I used to live in Washington State when I was in the military, so all of these cities sound familiar. Seattle and Olympia. I was stationed at Fort Lewis, right outside Tacoma for a while. All right, in Olympia at Summit Lake, and then we moved to Conway. The kids attended Conway School, where they got a great education and also played soccer, basketball, and ran cross country. One of Ethan's greatest memories was on the basketball court with his brother at Conway wearing jersey number 30. I feel one of his family members breaking down right now. This is really sad. Ethan is survived by his dad, Jim, his mom, Stacy, and surviving triplets, Maisie and Hunter. He is also survived by Stacy's mother, Darcy Wells, and Jim's father, Jim Chapin. Half siblings, Eric Chapin, and wife Sarah, David Chapin, and Nicole Chapin, Ryerson, and husband, Jimmy. Aunts and uncle, Steve and Gina Wells, Curtis and Machel Chapin, and Todd and Renee Chapin Fisher. Oh, he has a big family. Ethan attended Mount Vernon High School. His high school was cut short by COVID, so Ethan and his siblings packed their senior year at MVHS. This makes me want to cry, guys. It makes me emotional, Anyway, let's continue. But school was still not in session. They worked at Tulip Town through the tulip season and then headed back to Idaho to continue working at Hills Resort during the summer, just prior to attending the University of Idaho. In August of 2021, our family made the journey to University of Idaho to drop off all three of our kiddos at college. The boys, Ethan and Hunter, joined the fraternity of Sigma Chi, and Maisie joined Kappa Alpha Theta sorority. Sorry if I pronounced anything wrong there. Since attending the University of Idaho, Ethan lived his best life. He loved the social life, intramurals, and tolerated the academics. He also continued to play sports. Okay, we were all very fortunate to play golf with him all this last summer. If he wasn't on the golf course or working, you could usually find him surfing, playing sand volleyball, or pickleball. Ethan loved life. He laughed continuously. He smiled when he woke up and was still smiling when he went to bed. Yeah, I'm getting chills with this. His happiness definitely did bring jealousy in his full life, He was kind to all and to a friend to all. May we all try to make the earth a better place, and may we all live like Ethan. Ethan's memorial service will be held Monday, November 21st at 4:00 p.m. McEntry Hall, 2501 East College Way, Mount Vernon, Washington. In lieu of flowers, Ethan trained and loved Tyler Amaya. Tyler coaches youth basketball programs in Skagit County. This is what Ethan would want. Tyler will use the money to help and coach local youth. Checks can be made payable too, and so it has the information. So it's beautiful that they gave that support. And let's play this video. Oh, okay, I was speaking. I guess you guys didn't hear. I forgot I had myself muted and I had Devel muted. So I'm trying to unmute both of us. For some reason, it's not letting me unmute Devel. All right, let me just remove that. If you want to come back on, you can come back on. But right now, yeah. So give me 1 second, guys. All right, I had to kick him out, but if he would like to come back in and share his opinion, he's more than welcome. But I have a feeling he's watching sports right now. All right, so I shared a link just now, and it's to the obituary. It's 19 minutes long, and I was feeling emotions, a lot of sadness in this, especially I have children, that are in college, one who graduated, she's, doing her thing, and down south as well. And just to, recollect their memory and how much, they mean to me in every moment that was just like irreplaceable, and the love I have for them to actually endure something that these children, young adults, children, kids to a lot of us, had to endure painfully. It's just triggering, because can you imagine if it's your child? I can't imagine it. I don't want to imagine it, but the pain that I would feel right now is just consuming me in a way. And I know that pain is nothing nice for the family, so I pray for their strength. And I know you guys all pray for their strength, and may they get through this, and may the clues that are needed to get those families justice, be put out there, be found. All right, that the best investigation is done on these cases. All right, so let's look. Maybe try this. As was Xania murdered? Why was? Okay. Yeah, Lori says it's so sad, so true. And Dee says this is painful to hear. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Guys who are just on my channel and have not been here, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Like I stated, a lot of us want to go off facts, which we should indeed go off of. But if there's nothing out there and nothing bringing you closer to the truth, then sometimes it's good to look at certain clues and spiritual clues that can help you get a little bit closer to the truth. A lot of the stuff that I pulled in the Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie case, I pulled it prior to, if you look at my readings, prior to the autopsy being revealed, prior to the bodies being found. Not just that case, but, several other cases, right? So let's take it for what it's worth. This is all alleged, but I'm going to see whatever I can see spiritually and see if it can help. All right, so let's see. So why was Xania murdered? And I don't have the bigger details in the case. So that's good, because I'm looking at it with unbiased without knowing a lot of information. Why was Xania murdered? Please do press like. Why was Xania murdered? Two of Pentacles. This person has money in both hands. The bottom of the deck is the Tower. That's where everything goes up in flames. Seven of Pentacles. And invest. I don't know if that's an investment or what that is, but it has some money involvement. Let's see. Two of Pentacles, trying to balance. Seven of Swords. Seven of Athemis right there. So somebody being betrayed. Somebody feeling like there's some type of betrayal energy with that. Five of Pentacles, feeling left out in the cold. So right now I'm seeing something. It could either relate to either money. I'm going to continue to look into it, but it could relate to either money, or it could relate to being felt out, left in the cold, like ghosted by somebody, a disconnect from somebody. Let's see what else. Seven of Cups. Options. 7 of Wands. The number 7's coming up a lot. 3 7s in the deck. You can also go to Google and type in what does 3-7 means in a tarot reading, because I forgot. But you can go there and it might give you some guidance, because I'm seeing a lot of 7s. 7 of Wands. All right, that's somebody pulling a wand. They're feeling like they have to stand their ground about something. 7 of Cups. That's different options. Is that options in love? I don't know. We have to get closer, deeper into this read. The Page of Swords. The 6 of Pentacles. It feels like something connected. I'm trying to see if it's more so money or love. Let's see. Clarity on, because then I get the Page of Swords and then I get the 6 of Pentacles. Clarity on the 2 of Pentacles. Clarity on the 2 of Pentacles. Someone feeling stolen from or cheated. Clarity on the 2 of Pentacles. The City. The 4 of Swords. The 10 of Wands. Taking time away, going away. Was somebody going away from somebody? Ace of Swords. Knight of Cups. The 4 of Cups. Wait, somebody didn't want to hear what someone had to say about a certain situation. Clarity on the 7 of Swords. Why is that 7 of Swords there? Why is that 7 of Swords there? Why is the 7 of Swords there? The Crow, the Strength, the Queen of Cups, the 2 of Wands, the Harvest. All right. I gotta look deeper. Clarity on the 5 of Pentacles. Once again, that's being left out in the cold, being ghosted, but it also can deal with not having enough finances. 5 of Pentacles, clarity on the 5 of Pentacles. So whichever way it resonates in this, clarity on the 5 of Pentacles. Wait. Someone's feeling left out. It looks like someone's feeling left out. Queen of Cups, the 6 of Wands, the Sun. Somebody's being celebrated. Somebody's being celebrated here, and someone's being left out in the cold. Someone felt like almost a peasant energy. They felt like they weren't accomplished enough. It feels like some jealousy is going on here. Let's see. I'm going to get to your comments in a minute. Clarity on the 7 of Cups. Clarity on the 7 of Cups. So I feel like while one person was being put on high, on a pedestal, right? There's somebody that's left out in the cold by themselves. Clarity on the 7 of Cups. Clarity on the 7 of Cups. The 4 of Wands. Stability. All right. I feel like it has something to do with jealousy too, because we get the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands has something to do with stability. The 6 of Wands has to do with victory and success. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles, someone moving forward. They're, working on building themselves, maybe financially. Ace of Pentacles, new money, new work. Like they were it. Like this person has so much going for them. 7 of Wands, and somebody felt they needed to take away. 7 of Wands, clarity on the 7 of Wands. That's someone pulling a rifle. There are 7 rifles, and someone's pulling one of the rifles down to make themselves relevant. This feels like one of those old movies of books where somebody didn't feel good enough or felt somebody was getting attention that they wanted, that they sought. We get the 3 of Wands and the King of Wands. Okay. The Eight of Swords, feeling trapped. The Earth Mother. Someone having, Was anybody tied up in this situation? Blindfolded or something? Do you know? All right. Clarity on the Six of Pentacles. Clarity on the Six of Pentacles. I think someone was jealous of someone's attention, also jealous of their finances. It's like this person didn't compare success-wise. Six of Wands, Four of Wands, the Eight of Wands. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. Then there's the Tower. Everything falling apart. All right. Let me see what's going on in the chat. 3 sevens pull. Yep. I pulled 3 sevens. When you get ready, you can write it in the comments too. But what's 3 sevens in the tarot read? So show me more. Show me more. I should have been playing that with it on. I could have muted the audio and I could have kept playing this. So show me more. Why was example? Why was example? Okay, I can't wait till the facts come out in the case because I just feel like somebody was jealous of her. Like this person, this Exania had the world, Queen of Pentacles. She could hold stuff down. Like I see jealousy here. So I can't wait till the facts come out so we can have all of the details. Definitely share it in the comments as the facts do continue to come in. I may be on later with another True Crime Live. We shall see. Definitely do like, do subscribe, stay connected, and do share. Love you all. Oh, before I go, Lori, do you have another question? I'll take one more question for the road. And also, please tell me, what is your theory on why, after watching the case and seeing what's going on, tell me what's your theory on why Xenia got murdered? Okay, guys, if you coming in during the end of the live, please note, once again, everything is alleged in this. As Lori Shortleg stated, there are no suspects in the case. Intuitively, I heard David and I heard a Jack. If you want to know all the names I heard, go to my community page and check it out. Feel free to weigh in. A lot of times, the names I do hear have some involvement in the case, but we place blame on no one. We just want the true murderer to pay his dues, right? Y'all have a wonderful day. Love and light.